Hello, my name is Joshua Brown from the job aptitude testing website howtobecome.com, and in this tutorial I will teach you how to pass a Capital 1 assessment test. So if you have a Capital 1 pre-employment assessment test coming up, then please make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to help you to stand out and pass. To achieve that goal, this is what I'll cover. We'll first take a look at the different types of Capital 1 pre-employment test questions that may come up during your assessment, including Capital 1 situational judgment tests, numerical reasoning, and verbal reasoning tests. We're going to cover everything you need to prepare in this video. We'll then take a look at the step-by-step instructions on how to tackle Capital 1 style assessment test questions. We'll also cover essential tips to help you pass your test at the very first attempt, and then I'll also tell you where you can instantly access over 300 Capital 1 test practice questions and the fully worked answers. And just very quickly, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I want to help you to pass your aptitude tests by giving you brilliant practice to the toughest Capital 1 test questions, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. And please don't forget to hit that like button because this tells me you find these tutorials useful. Okay, let's take a look at numerical reasoning test questions first. I get asked all the time how to answer numerical test aptitude questions. So during your Capital 1 assessment, you will likely be required to sit a numerical reasoning test, and the numerical reasoning is a psychometric test that measures a candidate's math skills such as charts, graphs and tables, as well as also assessing your ability to use fractions, decimals and other basic arithmetic. The Capital 1 selection process uses this form of aptitude test as a way of measuring a candidate's ability to interpret numerical information and ability to make calculations under pressure. So preparing for numerical reasoning assessments can be tricky, but we believe the best way to prepare is to have a go at similar numerical reasoning assessments. So let's now take a look at what you can do to specifically prepare for your numerical reasoning Capital 1 test. So before we begin at looking at sample Capital 1 practice questions, let's quickly take a look at some of the mathematical topics that you should revise before sitting your Capital 1 numerical assessment. They include fractions, decimals, percentages, values, basic arithmetic, basic algebra, charts, tables, and graphs. So each question will be data heavy, and you may be required to analyze tables, graphs or charts in order to answer, which means you may find it takes longer to answer each question than other types of numerical reasoning tests you may have faced previously. However, I always believe the best place to start is with some basic arithmetic to warm yourself up, get your foundations right, learn the basics, and then you can improve by increasing the difficulty and then undertaking them under timed conditions. So let's look at a basic arithmetic question. Your friends tell you that their electricity bill has gone up from $40 per month to $47 per month. How much extra are they paying per year? Is it A, $47, B, $7, C, $87, D, $84, or E, $77? Now, when dealing with numerical reasoning questions like these, first work out the key information you need. So you can see here I've highlighted that key information in bold. Now let's work through this question together before I give you some sample questions to try by yourself. So first of all, let's work out the difference in their electricity bill. To do this, we subtract $40 from $47 to be left with $7. Now, you need to calculate how much extra they are paying per year. As there are 12 months in a year, you need to multiply $7 by 12 months to reach your answer of $84. So 12 times 7 gives us 84. So the correct answer is answer option D. So now try question yourself. Please put your answer to question 2 in the comment section below the video for marking. I reply to every single person who comments on this channel. I want to help you to pass your aptitude tests and your job interviews. So please do leave your answers below and I'll mark them for you and give you further tips and advice if you need it. So question 2 is this. A worker is required to work for 8 hours a day. He is entitled to 3 20-minute breaks and an hour for lunch during the working day. If he works for 5 days per week for 4 weeks, how many hours will he have actually worked? So here are your potential answer options. A, 12 hours, B, 14 hours, C, 120 hours, D, 140 hours, or E, 150 hours. You have 20 seconds to work this out on the timer starting now. How did you get on? Please put your answer in the comment section below where I will mark it for you. Okay, let's move on to a numerical format style of that is similar to the Capital 1 pre-employment maths test. So question 3 is this. Abdu enters a shop and purchases a box of oranges for $4.50. He receives 20% off his final purchase and pays with a $10 note. How much change does Abdu receive? Is it $6.50, $5.80, $6.40, 90 cents, or $3.60? Now, to work this question out, we first need to work out what 20% of $4.50 is. So to do that, we simply do this following formula. $4.50 divided by 100. We do it by 100 because it's out of a percentage, it's out of 100. So once we work out what $4.50 divided by 100 is, we can just move that decimal place by 2 places to the left. We then multiply that answer by 20, which gives us an answer of 90 cents. Therefore, we minus 90 cents from $4.50 to get $3.60. Finally, as he paid with a $10 note, we minus the $3.60 from $10, which gives us our answer of $6.40, making C the correct answer option. If you need to pause the video or rewind what we just covered, please do so. Like I said, get these foundations right before you start undertaking questions to try yourself and before we move on to those more difficult but more realistic aptitude test questions that we're going to cover in the video. So we're going to look at graphs and data in a second, but we can only do so once you've mastered the basics. So I want you to try a question for yourself, and just before we do that, at any point during this tutorial, and only if you want to, you can click that link in the top right hand corner of this video and head through to website howtobecome.com, where you can get access to over 300 Capital 1 aptitude test preparation style questions, including the ones we're covering right now, plus the fully worked answers and strategies to pass each question type to make you the standout candidate. Okay, now it is your turn to try one of those questions yourself. Please do let me know what your answer is in the comment section below and I will mark it for you. So question 4 is this. Joel wants to buy $30 of shopping in a supermarket. He has a discount voucher that reduces the total cost from $30 by 15%. Joel pays with a $50 note. How much change does Joel receive? Here are your answer options. Now again, I'm going to give you 20 seconds on the timer to work this out, and your timer starts now. How did you get on? Don't worry if that wasn't enough time for you. Just pause the video and take all the time that you need before moving on to the next question. Question 5 is this. Phoebe spends $27 in a retail store. She has a discount voucher that reduces the total cost from $27 to $21.60. What percentage was Phoebe's discount voucher worth? Now this question may at first seem a little trickier, especially when you're not using a calculator, but here is a great tip to answer this question. My tip is this. Start off by working out what 10% of $27 would be, which we know would be $2.70. By knowing this, it will help reveal the answer from the options below, which are A, 10%, B, 15%, C, 20%, D 25% or E 5%. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to try and work this out. Hopefully you should need less time than that, but whatever time it takes you, don't worry, just focus on getting these answers correct for now and then undertake more practice questions to improve your speed and accuracy. Here we go. Okay, let's now move on to some more but common challenging numerical question types. These may be a bit more representative of what you may face in your Capital 1 assessment. So here is a practice question. Let's make these a bit more challenging by mixing in visual graphs and tables. Question 6 is this. Sebastian wants to purchase 5 carrots and 10 plummets of blueberries using a $20 note. What percentage of his money will he spend? Here is a data chart of information that you may need to get your answer, and here are your answer options. Now, these numerical question types are often known or referred to as data interpretation tests, and they are frequently used in Capital 1 style assessment questions. Numerical data interpretation questions look way more intimidating than they often actually are. The trick here is to find the relevant information you need and disregard the rest. Most of the information will be redundant. Here we only need the rows for the carrots and blueberries, so we can get rid of brushes and erasers from this list as they're not relevant, just like this. So now that we're left with just the relevant information, it makes working out the answer a lot more simple. To do it, first we work out how much you spent in total, or how much Sebastian spent in total. So 5 times 55 cents equals $2.75. That's for 5 carrots. And then we spent $12 to get 10 plummets of blueberries. So $2.75 plus $12 gives us a total of $14.75. Next, the calculation to work out this percentage is a simple one. It is this. Value divided by the total value and then multiplied by 100. Again, just like earlier, we multiply by 100 to work out the percentage because the percentage is out of 100. So 14.75 divided by 20 gives us 0.74. 0.74 multiplied by 100 to give us our percentage is 74. So the correct answer is C, 74%. So again, if you need to rewind that and go through that again, please do so. Take your time, go at your own pace. And then when you're ready, we're then going to try a question without any help from me. So please put your answer to question 7 in the comment section below the video for marking. And after we go through some of these more challenging questions in this numerical section, we're then going to move on to situational judgment tests and also verbal reasoning judgment tests to help you really prepare for your Capital 1 assessment tests. So here is that numerical reasoning question. Below is a table listing the percentage changes from 2014 to 2016 for 5 different companies. Using the below table, if company B earned $412,500 in 2014, how much money did the company make in 2016? So here is the data that you need, and here are your answer options. Now, just as before, to answer this question, you will need to sift out the information you need from the table. Remember, most of that data in the table is redundant. Once you have the data you need, you can apply a similar percentage calculations from before that we've looked at today to work out your answer. Your 30 seconds to work this out starts now. Okay, let's take a look at a little different question. So below is a pie chart that shows the hair colour of people in a shop. If 8 people have blonde hair, how many people have black hair? Is it A, 8, B, 10, C, 12, D, 14 or E, 16? Well, to work this out, we use the same principles that we've already covered. So people with blonde hair equal 8, which we know is 20% because the pie chart shows it as 20% there. Therefore, we can multiply 8 by 5, or 20% times by 5, to get the total amount of people, 100% of people. So 8 multiplied by 5 equals 40. Therefore, to work out how many people have black hair, we then need to divide 40 by 100, which gives us 0.4. Finally, 0.4 multiplied by 30 gives us 12. And we're multiplying it by 30 because the pie chart clearly shows 30% of people have black hair. So the correct answer option is C, 12. So now try one of these questions for yourself. How many more people choose chocolate C as their favourite than chocolate B? Here are your answer options. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds again to work this out, starting now. If you've made it this far, you're doing really, really well. Most people, like I say, struggle so much with the numerical reasoning questions, and that's why I wanted to cover it in such depth and go through it with you first. We're now going to move on to the verbal reasoning assessment tests to help you pass your Capital 1 assessment. And just very quickly, like I said, don't forget at any point during this tutorial, if you want to, you can click that link in the top right hand corner and head over to my website, howtobecome.com, where you can access 300 plus Capital 1 aptitude test preparation style questions. Let's move on to those verbal reasoning questions. So during the verbal reasoning questions, you will need to read through and extract very carefully and answer the questions that follow it. Let's take a look at an example extract and then some questions. Barry and Bill work at their local supermarket in the town of Whiteham. Barry works every day except Wednesday. The supermarket is run by Barry's brother, Elliot, who is married to Sarah. Sarah and Elliot have 2 children, Marcus and Michelle, who are both 7 years old, and they live in the road adjacent to the supermarket. Barry lives in a town called Redford, which is 7 miles from Whiteham. Now, to answer this type of verbal reasoning or comprehension style questions, then you must be able to demonstrate you can accurately interpret and remember the data within the passage. Take your time to read. Accuracy is most important here. So let's have a look at some questions using that exact same passage that we just covered. So question 10 is this. Which town does Elliot live in? Is it Redford, Whiteham, Brownhaven, Tenford, or you cannot say? So what would you answer here? Well, we can see in the second paragraph, we are told that Sarah and Elliot live adjacent to the supermarket. In the first paragraph, we are told that the supermarket can be located in the town of Whiteham. Therefore, Elliot must also live in Whiteham. Let's take a look at another question based on this passage. So now that you've had a warm up, this time we're going to add even more information to that passage. So we have the same parts as before, but we also are now presented with this information. Bill's girlfriend, Maria, works in a factory in her hometown of Brownhaven. Sarah and Elliot take their children on holiday to Tenford twice a year, and Barry usually gives them a lift in his car. The town of Redford is 6 miles from the seaside town of Tenford. Barry's mum lives in Tenford and he tries to visit her once a week at 2 p.m. when he has a day off work. So question 11 is this. On which day of the week does Barry visit his mother? Here are your answer options. Cannot say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. What would you say? Again, it's all about a process of elimination. In the first paragraph, we are told that Barry works every day except for Wednesdays. And in the last paragraph, we are told that Barry visits his mother once a week on a day he is not working. We know from reading the first paragraph that Barry doesn't work Wednesday, so this is the day he'd be able to go and visit his mother, making the correct answer option Wednesday. So what I want you to do now is to have a go at these yourself under timed conditions. So the paragraph or the excerpt is exactly the same as before, but here is your statement. Bill and Maria live together in Brownhaven. Is that true, false, or cannot say? What would you do to answer this question? Did you get it right? Well, it's cannot say. Although the passage tells us that Maria works in Brownhaven, it is not made clear as to A, whether she lives there, and B, whether or not Bill lives with her. Therefore, the answer is C, cannot say. Now let's move on to a mock test for you to try these questions yourself under time conditions using a new passage. Please put your answer to question 13 in the comment section below for marking. Thank you very much. Although there is not a clear cause for abdominal pain in children, it may be a symptom of emotional disturbance, especially where it appears in conjunction with phobias or sleep disorders such as nightmares or sleepwalking. It may also be linked to eating habits. A study carried out in the USA found that children with pain tended to be fussier about what and how much they ate, and to have over-anxious parents who spent a considerable amount of time worrying to try and persuade them to eat. Although abdominal pain had previously been linked to excessive milk drinking, this research found that children with pain drank rather less milk than those in the control group. So here is the statement. There is no clear cause for abdominal pain in children. Is that true, false, or cannot say? You have 10 seconds on the timer to work this out, starting now. What answer did you get? Let me know in the comment section below and I will reply to you with the correct answer option. So the excerpt is the same again, but the statement is different. Abdominal pain in children is caused by eating too much. Is that true, false, or cannot say? 10 seconds starts now. You're doing really well. Let's take a look at another statement. Drinking milk may help to prevent abdominal pain in children. Is that true, false, or cannot say? Again, you have 10 seconds on the timer, starting now. You've done really well to make it this far. We're now going to move on to the situational judgment reasoning test questions. Now, don't forget to put those answers in that comment section below for marking. And also don't forget, if you want to at any point, do click that link in the top right hand corner. It will take you through to my website, howtobecome.com, and you can access there over 300 Capital One aptitude test preparation style questions. Okay, let's take a look at these situational judgment test questions. Again, a lot of people really struggle with these. Before we look at the question, it's really important to understand that when answering any kind of situational judgment test question, you should always make sure you are honest. Due to the nature of a situational judgment exercise, it is important that your answers are always honest. However, by practicing these type of questions, you can be fully prepared for what you may expect in your assessment, and you can also get an understanding of how your own values need to align with the values of the organization that you are applying for. So for example, if you're applying for a customer service role, or if customer service is an integral part of the job role that you are applying to, then they will be looking for people who are not reactionary in a negative way, and they'll be looking for people who go above and beyond for a customer, people who are helpful, and people who have great communication skills. Therefore, your answers would be expected to reflect that. In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at some example situations and example situational judgment test questions that I believe may help you for your assessment. Let's take a look at the first one together. A co-worker tells you that she is planning to take a week's sick leave when actually she is going on holiday. How do you respond? Do you A, go to your supervisor and tell her what your co-worker is planning on doing? B, advise your co-worker that being dishonest is likely to get her into trouble, urge her to be honest with your supervisor? Or do you C, tell her to have fun on her vacation? Well, in this scenario, the best thing you can do is to advise your colleague to be completely honest. This is the first course of action that you should take. It is up to her to be honest with the employer. Now, do remember that when you're given these scenarios and the answer options may not be the best course of action that you personally would take. It's your job here to select which answer option out the available answer options you would choose. And in this case, I believe the first course of action you should take would be to advise your co-worker that being dishonest is likely to get her into trouble and urge her to be honest with her supervisor. If she didn't do those things, then the next course of action may be for you to speak with a supervisor. So here, I believe the correct answer option is answer B. Take a look at a question yourself. Question 17 is this. The company has decided to implement a new strategy that you believe will not work. You believe that this new strategy will take the company in the opposite direction to what they should be aiming for. You've tried to voice your opinions on the matter, but no one will listen. Do you A, tell your head of department that you would like to call an official meeting in order to discuss ideas that you believe can help the company prosper? B, the company has made their decision and it's not your fault if this ends badly. Do nothing. Or C, discuss with other colleagues to find out their take on the situation. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to answer this. Let me know what answer option you would choose. What did you choose? Well, for me personally here, I would have chosen answer option A. I believe this is the best option of the available answers. None of these answers are ideal, but calling a meeting is the most professional choice here. So now it is your turn. I want you to answer these questions. Again, put the answers in the comment section below for marking, and I will get back to you with my suggested answer options. So question 19 is this. You have been working in the same role for the past 5 years and feel as though you've not been properly commended for your hard efforts. You wish to talk to your manager about the possibility of a pay rise. How do you proceed? Do you A, do your research and see if the company is financially stable before planning your speech to discuss this opportunity with your manager? B, decide to speak to your colleagues and see if they have been offered any pay rises or bonuses since working for the company, and then decide how to proceed from there? Or do you do option C, make an appointment to see your manager, politely request that he reviews you for a pay rise and provide examples as to why he should reward you with this? Again, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to give me an answer option in that comment section below. You're doing really well sticking with me this far. Let's take a look at question 20. You are working with a colleague on a presentation. You notice that he is not putting in much effort and shows a lack of enthusiasm. Do you A, talk to your colleague and explain that this is a mutual presentation and that you would appreciate his help with the work? Or do you do option B, get on with the presentation yourself in order to make sure 100% effort is put into it? Or C, inform your team leader and discuss the issues you are facing. You have 10 seconds starting now. For question 21, I've got a great situational judgment test question for you. You are sent on a training course in order to improve and enhance your knowledge of marketing and advertising. However, your training is for 8 hours with a man who has a thick accent. You are struggling to understand him. Do you A, raise your hand and tell him that you are struggling to understand what he is saying? B, do your best to make notes, ask questions and compare notes with colleagues at the end? Or do you do option C, do the best you can with the tutor you have been given? Let me know which answer option you would choose. You have 10 seconds starting now. Okay, let's take a look at one more question for you. You have a group project due. On the day of your deadline, your colleagues inform you that the report you have created hasn't been done to a high level. What do you do? A, meet with your boss, explain the situation and ask for an extension. B, hope your colleagues are wrong and submit your report the way it is. C, decide not to hand in the report and say that you haven't completed it in order to give you more time to start afresh. You have 10 seconds starting now. So the next thing to do is to please make sure you click that button in the top right hand corner of this video right now. Head through to my website, howtobecome.com, where you can get access to over 300 Capital 1 preparation style aptitude test questions and the fully worked answers to each question. You can literally have online access within 2 minutes from now, and it's guaranteed to help you prepare effectively for your next job aptitude test and also, more importantly, put you ahead of the competition. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe, as I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible pass their aptitude tests and job interviews, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. Please also hit that like button, as that encourages me to make more videos just like these. Now, if you have any questions regarding any aptitude test question, do let me know in the comment section below, where I'll get back to you. Oh, and finally, don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I've put my LinkedIn link in the description below. It's always great to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best with your assessment. Have a brilliant day.